Hello, this video is to uh, explain certain things about the periodic inspection report, the PIR report, which several of my colleagues have asked me on several occasions as to what this is and where it is used and how it has to be used, etc. So, in order to answer some of the important questions and which are the main points that you need to consider when you are sharing the inspection report with anybody, that I will cover in this short video. Number one is, what is a tank inspection report? Now, what you have to understand is that tanks have a certain validity that is given at the time of manufacturing, which means a tank needs to be retested at the end of completion of that period of testing. So usually it is 2.5 years, and the other test is at the end of 5 years. Now the first question is, what is the difference between a 2.5 year test and a 5 year test? Now I may not be entirely correct what I'm saying, but one of the basic differences is that in a 2.5 year testing, they will do all kinds of tests like air testing, and they will also do hydro testing. But in a 5 year test, they do the hydro testing and for a longer duration by and asking the and keeping the tank under the pressure of water for 4 bar, which is the test pressure. So this is basically about uh, difference between 2.5 year tests and 5 year tests. Now, at the end of completion of the test, there will be a test certificate which is issued by a third party company. The third party company in this case, which you can see here, is DNV. And if you will go, we will go in detail of this particular report so that you will understand what I'm talking about. So DNV is the company that has done this inspection. The certificate will mention the first thing as the container number, which is important to us. Then who is the leaser of the company or the operator? In this case, it was Hoyer. Who was the manufacturer of this? This is Konsani, which was the manufacturer. And where the inspection was carried out. And all further details related to this tank is mentioned on this particular test certificate. For example, the fact that this was a T11 tank here mentioned, and the year of manufacture here. Then the weight, gross weight of the tank. Gross weight means the weight of the cargo plus that of the tank, the maximum allowable weight that can be carried in this particular tank. Tare weight, the weight of the tank by itself. This document is the final document. If there is any discrepancy that you notice between this and the cleaning certificate provided by any agency, you must take the periodic inspection report as the final, because this is inspected by the factory and it is inspected by several professional surveyors, and it is done at a regular interval of 2.5 years or 5 years. So you can take this as the final tare weight. The capacity of the tank. This is several times people ask us what is the capacity, because this is very important at the time of loading of certain cargoes. So this is one aspect that you need to consider. You will find here 4 bar air pressure, maximum allowable water pressure, I think is the full form, 4 bar pressure. So when you do hydro testing, what they do is to fill up the tank, they close all the valves and they pressurize the tank up to 4 bar with water. So then they will come to know whether there are any leakages. So the purpose of the test at 2.5 years or 5 years is to understand whether there are any leakages or any kind of repairs that needs to be done to the tank, any kind of problems that they can foresee in the coming 2.5 years related to this tank, whether this tank is worthy of carriage of hazardous cargoes. These are the kind of things that the tank inspector would want to find out, and that after he is satisfied about these things, only then he will be giving the certificate. Then there will be further details related to the tank, whether it is a top discharge tank, bottom discharge tank, number of closures, what kind of material is used, the shell thickness. So you'll see this is 4 mm thick. This particular tank, you can see the shell material is steel and the type of steel that they have used is mentioned over here. This code is the standardized homogenized code which is used for ISO tanks. So these are some of the important details that you will find. Now, the inspection, the last inspection and other details related to this particular tank is mentioned over here. When was hydro testing done? Till when is it valid? All these details you will find here. This inspection date, when this was inspected, and next inspection date. Now you see, this particular tank, the inspection was supposed to have been conducted in March of 2020, which has just gone by. So now it is the duty of our teammates who is handling this particular profile to find out whether all the tanks which are in our possession, in our ownership, are all tested and the certificates are valid. In the event that the test certificate is not valid, you get a grace period of about 3 months within which you can do the test certification, and the tank will still be considered for the purpose of export even with an expired certificate, so long as that expiry is within 3 months of the shipment date. But for us, it is better not to get into this kind of wrangles. Before the tank expires, please intimate your depot to inform our inspection company, which in this case is DNV, and we have also contracts with DNV, so we will continue to work with DNV. So inform them. Somebody will go from DNV to the depot, he will inspect it, and then he will issue the certificate. So this is the purpose of a tank test certificate. I hope this is informative.